I was actually looking forward to this one, but I guess I was just a little disappointed in the actual initiation of this movie. We have here the most dangerous game, including the original 1930s The Most Dangerous Game. The better film in this is obviously the 1930s version. This one is, well, right away you could tell that it's kind of cheap. If I turn this over on the spine, you're going to see Mill Creek. That should be an alarm right off the bat. When we look on the back here, we actually see Mill Creek in the actual presentation. It's not just a distributor this time. It's actually part of the actual making of this film. Now, my previous video that I put out, Demon, from 2013, it is worse than the remake Most Dangerous Game. Obviously, the Most Dangerous Game is shot digitally, much like the other one, but it's just there's just more competency on display here. So obviously, probably the Most Dangerous Game here was given more money. I don't know how much money, maybe 1 million, maybe less than 1 million, but it's more money than Demon 2013 ever received, because we actually have some named actors here, like Casper Van Dien, who plays the hunter. And we have Christopher Taramberello. I do not know what he's in, what he's ever been in. I decided not to lie. I didn't look at his IMDb page. I don't know what he's been in. But I know what Casper Van Dien's been in. He's been in Starship Troopers. Yeah, one of the best movies ever made. But everybody else, I don't really know. I don't know who Judd Nelson. That might be him. I don't know who these other people, what these other people have been, and I just know Casper Van Dien. I just know him. As for the 1930s version, I don't know who any of those people are. I recognized this movie. I recognized the premise. I recognized the story because it's something they teach in schools. I don't know that they still do nowadays, but when I was in school, it was one of the books or stories that I was required to read, because the Most Dangerous Game was originally a story. Let me see who wrote it. Yes, it was a short story written by Richard Edward Connell Jr. Back in 1924, so 1932, probably about 6 years later, probably because the book was very popular. The short story was very popular amongst readers. I believe the stories were posted in a magazine, much like Penny Dreadfuls were back in the day. If you don't know what Penny Dreadfuls are, well, you probably know what the Penny Dreadfuls show is, and if you don't, that's definitely something I needed to talk about on this channel someday, because it's one of the best TV shows ever made. It's very short. There's only 3 seasons. You can definitely get into it. It's about 10 episodes per season, maybe even 8 in the final season. I'm not too sure about that, but it's very short, but it's very delightful. It stars Josh Hartnett. It stars, what's-his-face, who used to be James Bond in The Living Daylights, and another one that I can't remember the name of, but I can't remember his name, but he's very good. He's one of the best actors I've ever seen. It's very British, because almost everybody in it is British. Josh Hartnett plays an American, obviously, but it's a very good show. But back to the Most Dangerous Game. It was originally a short story, and it was the short story that I read in school, and I remember liking it. I remember remembering. I remember the story, the entire bit. It really stood out to me. The idea of a hunter growing bored of hunting big game and ended up deciding that he wanted to hunt a human instead. The Most Dangerous Game is so well known that it has been used as a premise to build characters such as Kraven the Hunter, the Predator from the Alien Predator movie. Yeah, it has built so many things off of this base storyline of, wow, we've hunted all sorts of things, and we're kind of bored of all these big games. Rhinos, tigers, lions, bears. They're not exactly exciting anymore. What can we hunt that will bring back this excitement? Man, let's hunt a a hunter. Let's hunt a predator that an apex of apexes. Let's arm him with a weapon and do one of the most dangerous games and see who wins. It's a rush, you know. So this idea, this story, really stuck with me because obviously I've seen it used in various other things. Kraven the Hunter. I recently watched that movie, and I'm probably going to be talking about that soon. It's actually pretty good, but not in the good way that you might think. It's good in the way that a canon film is good, if that makes sense. If you don't know what canon movies are, I guess I could derail this video to talk about that. These are canon films. I have here a 10-film canon film set because it's one of the best things ever. It has the Electric Boogaloo documentary. It is a fantastic collection. If you don't have this collection, you need to get it. There are so many good films in here, and some stinkers, like The Hitman's kind of boring, but there's a lot to like here. If you remember Chuck Norris, you remember Walker, Texas Ranger, and if you remember movies with Chuck Norris in it, it was probably a Canon Films movie. These movies were made for pretty low budget. They were made by a company helmed or founded by Golan and Globus. They're two different people, two filmmakers decided, you know, they were outsiders, they're foreigners, and they came into Hollywood and they wanted to make movies, but they wanted to do it in the good old classic, Roger Corman way. Which is, they were basically the action movie variant of a Roger Corman horror movie. That's the best way I could describe these films. They were made extremely cheaply, but they got effects, they got a named actor, they got at least one named actor, and they filmed the story around him, around her sometimes. But they got a named actor in there, usually Chuck Norris, or Sylvester Stallone, or Dolph Lundgren, or Van Damme here. They would get in a named actor, and they would film the story around them. Usually this bombastic action movie, it's a typical run-of-the-mill thing that you'd seen all the time in the 80s, all the time. But they were fun. They were crazy. They were fun. Everything was exploding. Blums, beeps. Everything was blowing up, and it was awesome. It was awesome. That's the one thing that you could say about Canon Films, is that they were awesome. Except when they weren't. Because, you know, they did do, I think they did do Superman 4. That one wasn't that good. No. But when they were successful, like Invasion USA, they were successful, like Missing in Action and the Delta Force. They were very successful, like Cobra, Over the Top. And, of course, they would sometimes do international movies, like Bloodsport here. And sometimes they made a movie that was so bad it was good, like Hellbound here. That's probably Chuck Norris, the only horror movie he ever starred in, he ever will star in. And it was I love that movie. And of course we have Masters of the Universe here. Yeah, Canon Films did the Masters of the Universe movie, and that's the type of aesthetic that I would put the Kraven movie into, in a Canon Films thing. But there were so many things wrong with it that we're going to get to. I don't want to derail this too much and talk about Kraven, but Kraven is based off The Most Dangerous Game, The Most Dangerous Hunter, that idea, that aesthetic. This is such a very influential story. It's timeless. And that 30s film is very good. It's a very fun time. I watched it. I really enjoyed it. This remake, though, no. You know, the only good thing about the remake is Casper Van Dien's performance. He is campy. He is not taking this seriously at all. You might even say he's phoning it in, but he's having fun phoning it in a little bit. You know, he's having a little bit of fun with the role, and his accent is a little bit forced. German accent is very fun. It's just a little bit of a wacky thing there, but Christopher Tabarello, I think that's him here, but he was pretty weak in the movie. I don't know who that is. Maybe he's Judd Nelson or Booster, I don't know. But the best part of the movie is definitely Casper Van Dien's performance. Everything else is kind of sleepy. Everything looks very cheap. The sets, the design, the area that they're in, it's just not... The only thing I could say about the Most Dangerous Games remake is that it's shot competently. Like, the camera was actually a good camera. It's not terrible. You could hear what people were saying on, like, Demon 2013. You can actually hear the dialogue. You don't have to turn the volume all the way up to 50 to hear people whispering, and you just hear a bunch of seriously loud chirping like in Demon 2013. The sound is decently balanced. The audio is decently balanced. The picture is actually lookable, viewable, seeable. There's no day for night terrible sequences. When it's nighttime, it's actually nighttime, you know. So it's actually pretty competently shot. It's just not that good to look at. It's just not that good to watch. It's because, especially if you watch the 30s film first. I did that. I watched the 30s film first because it came first. And honestly, it reminded me, I think we actually saw this movie in school when they were teaching the Most Dangerous Game short story. Maybe one of my teachers decided to play this movie. I don't exactly recall, but I remember seeing this. And it still holds up. I would definitely say if you're gonna watch the Most Dangerous Game, you should watch the 1930s version because it still holds up. It's way better than this version. The only reason I would say to watch the remake is for Casper Van Dien. If you're a very big Casper Van Dien fan, then you want to watch everything he's ever been in. Well, this is one of them that he's been in, so you could watch it for that. But if that's not the reason, I can't really think of another reason to watch this other than extreme curiosity. Because you're a big fan of the 30s film or a big fan of the short story and you want to see how a remake of the Most Dangerous Game can actually work, that's an idea. The reason why this film feels so thin, the plot, is because it's a short story. When we make movies based off short stories, they tend to feel very thin because there's just not enough material to cover. That's what happened with the horror movie Lights Out. Lights Out started as a horror short, a short film, about 5 to 10 minutes long, and it actually works as a 5 to 10 minutes long short film. As an actual feature-length movie, it falls apart because there's just not enough material. There's not enough material there to put a full feature-length premise on. That's the same thing here. We spend a lot of time with people just talking to each other, hiding in the forests, about, oh, is he coming? Oh, no, he's out there. Maybe we could get out over that way. Oh, there's a lot of fluff, a lot of pointless things here just to fill the runtime. When you have a short story, you could probably make a short film, maybe a 30-minute episode about it, but it's very difficult to make a feature-length film off a short story. And that's something even the 30s film suffers about, because there's a lot of bloat there where everybody's just sitting around waiting for something to happen because we have to extend the runtime. We don't really have that much of a plot. The entire premise of the film is that a guy gets shipwrecked on an island, he meets a hunter, the hunter challenges him to a game, and if he succeeds, he gets to leave the island. That's really it. That's the only thing going on here. There's not really much you could do to expand that. You know, you can make a character expanding upon that, like Kraven the Hunter or the Predator. You could expand that, sure. Yeah, like the Predator movie did with Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of the best action movies ever made. Yeah, you could do that. You can make Kraven the Hunter. Arguably, I have no idea who he is. I've never read a single Spider-Man comic, so my first exposure to him was the movie. Or actually, no. I did play a Lego game, a Lego Marvel game. Kraven the Hunter was a playable character that you could unlock in it. I had no idea who he was, but I picked him. I played as him for a little bit. he had a decent moveset. For the most part, I did not know who this guy was, okay? But when I watched the movie, then I looked up the character, I'm like, this is the Most Dangerous Game. This is the Most Dangerous Game guy. This is a Most Dangerous Game archetype. And so I decided, all right, let's watch the Most Dangerous Game and see how it holds up. Well, the remake doesn't really do that. Not much else I can really say without going back into Kraven the Hunter and the Predator and canon films, which I really want to do. So I may have to make videos on them someday. Who knows? But that's the Most Dangerous Game. watch the 30s version. If you're a Casper Van Dien fan, watch the remake. If you're not a Casper Van Dien fan, but you're a Most Dangerous Game fan and you're just very curious, watch the Most Dangerous Game remake. But if any of those don't apply to you, then you can skip it.